last time I was telling the story about getting the job at Hughes Aircraft Company, and I worked there about 20 years, from 1981 and to 2000, and had plenty of stories from there, that some that I can tell, some that I can't for security reasons. Anyway, one of the second to the last job I had working for Hughes Aircraft Company was a job at working for the material management and accounting systems project that Hughes had entered in with Boeing and Litton Industries, and they had a material management system, keeps track of all the purchases and equipment they're buying and material, and then manage that where they are, where they're stored, and all that stuff. And I was in charge of making sure that all the requirements for a quality system were met, so that everything that the quality department would need was in that system. So I had the job for about a year and a half, and that eventually, at that time, Hughes was purchased by Raytheon Corporation, and they decided to get out of that project management system. I understand that Boeing went forward with the rest of the system and used that. Well, as part of that activity, the project manager was a lady who worked at the Western Data Systems, which was the company that was building the software. Yvonne Lorch was the name of the project manager for Western Data Systems that was running the project for Hughes and Litton and Boeing. Anyway, she was in charge of their software development activity, and sometime during the project they had some quality concerns with the project itself, with the code that was being written and whatever. So she had asked me to kind of take on the role, since I was already working the quality requirements for the system. She asked if I would work on the software quality of the product itself. So I was kind of doing that also. And so after the project got killed by the purchase of Raytheon, I went back to Hughes Aircraft Company, and now I had experience in software quality, which is completely different than hardware quality. The concepts are kind of the same, but a lot of the details are different. And so I went back to Hughes with the software stuff in mind, and ended up being assigned to software quality assurance group, and working in software quality assurance on radars and things like that. And part of
that's pretty cool.
So part of what because of that, working in software quality, I got assigned to the Y2K stuff. Now, whether or not you believe it or not, there was a lot of stuff that needed to be taken care of to make sure that the year 2000, when we hit it, didn't cause a big problem with our equipment there. So I was had the part of the whole western, southwestern United States activities, accounting for all the equipment and stuff, and making sure that the mitigation for the Y2K was taken care of. And at the same time, Yvonne, who had been the project manager at Western Data Systems, she had left Western Data Systems and gone to work for Deloitte and Touche, which is a big accounting firm. So Deloitte and Touche had Yvonne. I was working software quality for Hughes, or Raytheon at the time, and she had she called me up one day and said, "Hey, look, I need somebody to come help me out with this stuff at Deloitte Touche. Would you like to come work for me?" And I thought, well, that's a good opportunity because it was in civilian work. It wasn't government contract stuff. It was in accounting and stuff for big accounting company, pretty famous. And I would say one of the top three. And so she had asked me if I would come work for her. But I told her, I said, look, I'm working on this project for Hughes, or for Raytheon, the Y2K stuff, and I didn't want to leave that. I wanted to see that through because it was like the middle of 1999, and we had, just a couple more months to go before the big Y2K stuff, and I thought it would be disruptive for me to change out my position that close to the event. And so she came back with a bigger offer and asked for more money. more money. And I had said, well, I still wanted to finish out the project, so I told her I would come work for her as long as she would wait until I was done with the project. Anyway, so I had told Yvonne I had to stop there for the light. Anyway, I had told Yvonne that I would come to work for her after the Y2K, again, because I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to transition into non-government work, which all the Raytheon and Hughes activity was government. So she came back a couple of times with offering more money until I finally said yeah, as long as I got to the finish the Y2K project out there at Raytheon. And so that's how actually we went through the Y2K stuff. It was pretty cool. We had our ceremony, had the equipment all decked out, and hold on here, see if I get around this plant here. Come on. Okay, so like I said, Yvonne was, I think, thought I was negotiating for more money, so she kept offering enough, so I eventually said, yeah, let me just finish this out with the Y2K stuff, and we had our big party with the cafeteria all decked out as a bomb shelter for Y2K. Anyway, it was a pretty fun stuff. So that's how I came to work for Deloitte Touche, and I'll talk a little bit about that afterwards. So Come on, come on.